Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Complex Like Wine, the podcast where we talk about complicated things and improve over time just like wine does. You can see from the background, it's a little different from how I normally do it. We're actually in Paso Robles, a wine country. Shout out to Sara who organized all of this and invited me up to meet all these amazing entrepreneurs and really great women and people to do podcasts with. So today we have Hannah.
Hi.
And we're going to learn more about her business in a little bit and everything that she does. When we first talked over Zoom, I was like, oh my God, I'm so excited to talk to you. I really love the energy and everything.
Good. Yeah, no, I was really excited. It was so fun. And I'm like, oh my gosh, come, if you've never been here, like come to wine country. Yeah. It's like so amazing. And this location specifically is so gorgeous. It's Kindred Oak Farm. And so here, Lisa and Rob are the owners. They started this 2 years ago, and it's a bed and breakfast. It has 4 bedrooms. And I got connected through my company because I do events and special occasion for couples. And this is really a couples based place, retreat for people to come. So we do breakfast out here in the morning. And so we have a private chef on property. And then we coordinate private dinners as well with our chef out here. And so, I mean, you can't go wrong.
No, when we first came in, I was like looking inside, like, it's so cute, so quaint, so beautiful. And then you get the vineyards behind you.
I know. I'm going to have to give you like a grand tour. It's over 20 acres. There's a game room down there. There's a wedding, like you can have a wedding or elopement down below, or, a bigger event, dinner event down below as well. So
oh my God.
It's such a cool property.
No, it's so great. Yeah, no, we came in last night at like 11ish, and so today went to Tobin James Winery.
Nice.
Now we're here.
Yeah.
So going to Sensorial Light Show after.
Fun. Yeah. So I went out there for an exclusive experience with Table and Vine. It's a dinner club that is in the area, and she does different locations. It's kind of similar to, if you ever heard of Field to Table, kind of.
A little bit, yeah.
So she picks the different areas, and so she did one at Sensorio where it was not open to the public at all, and she shut it all down, and then did a lights, like we got to see the lights come on. So we went during the day, and then the lights came on, and then we had a chef's dinner out there.
Oh my
and
goodness.
It was really cool.
Oh, how cool.
Yeah, and she does larger events, like so it's like 50 to 70 people kind of thing. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I'm all about the experiences.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah.
Behind the camera is Daniel, my friend, helping out with everything set up. But so far, we're enjoying it.
Okay.
It's been really good.
Good. Yeah, and we have cows.
We have cows in the background.
They're actually like part of the farm.
Oh, okay.
So every animal here is like a pet. And so there's no, we do use food from the garden, and we have florals. She sells to local florists as well. And then the chickens, we use the eggs for like the breakfast in the morning. But like the goats have names, like we don't use them for any, So it's every animal is a pet here.
Oh my God. Yeah. I love it.
Yeah. And helps with, the food as well. So,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Yay.
I know.
Well, I'm so glad we finally were able to get connected. Yeah. Now we're doing the podcast.
I know. Yes. So, in the wine we're pouring today.
Yes. Please introduce
is Chamisel Vineyards. I'm actually a member there. I got acquainted with them when I first came to the area. It's a smaller vineyard in the area. And this is their Grenache, and they're known for their Califa wine. And so I just wanted to share it with you. It's based in San Luis Obispo. And so they have a few vineyards there as well that you can, tour around in Edna Valley.
Okay.
But this is one of my favorite wineries.
Well, yes, let's definitely take a sip.
So cheers. Love it. I know you've tasted a lot of wine, so you have to tell me.
Oh no, that's nice.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to
try? Okay.
We'll pour Daniel a glass.
We're gonna pour Daniel a glass, everyone.
Drinking on the job.
Yeah. Exactly. I never get to drink on the job.
I know.
It's like the fun.
Don't tell my manager.
Okay. He said, "Don't tell my manager."
Yeah.
This is really good.
Oh, good.
I like this.
Yeah, it's smooth. It's really smooth. I like reds, but they have to be smooth for me and not give me like
not with all the tannins.
Yeah.
No.
It's tough for me with the tannins.
Yeah.
But I've had really good luck at this vineyard.
I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, if I can find the link online, I'll put it in the bio for everyone that's curious. But this is a really good one.
Yeah.
Yay.
I'm so glad.
Yes. Well,
here we are.
Yes, here we are.
I know.
Let's dive in.
Okay.
Talk about Project XO and
Sure.
everything from like how you started it and as a female entrepreneur, everyone knows there's always gonna be struggles, whether male, female, whatever. There's getting your business up and running. Yeah. So I would love to learn more from your experience and everything.
It's a roller coaster. I know that's like cliche to say, but it is a roller coaster. And I do recommend everyone like pursuing their passion in life because it is rewarding. It has like, I know that you're, doing this podcast. And so it's like, it's rewarding. You meet so many people. I've met so many people through my business, which I can't even, like the people that I've touched, they, and they've touched me is, coincides with one another. And it's just really, really incredible. So basically I moved to the Central Coast, giving a little background of Project XO and like you said, how did it all start kind of thing. I moved here 5 years ago. I moved here for a fresh start. My mom actually had passed away that year right before moving here. And so I really needed kind of something new and different. And I was living in Boston and I was in investment management. And I was like, I like it, but I don't think this is my long-term, like, it's not my passion. I did love everyone I worked with. And so I actually got offered a job to come over here to work in investment management. I was like, you know what, maybe that would be good. At first I was unsure because I was like, if it's going to be like nothing against a city, but I've already been to a city. Yeah. So I was like, if it's going to be a city life again, I don't know if that's where I want to move because I'll just stay in the city where I've been before or where I have been. And so, and all my family's on the East Coast. So I got flown over here, got the whole tour of the Central Coast. And I was like, I mean, it's breathtaking. I was like,
it's beautiful.
I couldn't say no. Yeah. And with the contrast with the ocean and the, the hills and the vineyards, when you go like towards Cambria and Cayucas and stuff, it literally, when it's green, it looks like Ireland. It's really amazing. So I was like, okay, I guess I have to give this a try. So I moved to Cayucas when I first moved to the area and I worked for that investment, starting that business. And with 2 people, it was tough. It was just me and him in the office. It was hard to meet people because, again, it's just the 2 of us. And he was actually out of town a lot. And I was like, I just don't know if this is still what I want to do again. It's not that I didn't like compliance per se. I just felt like it wasn't touching that passion, that my creative outlet that I needed that change kind of thing. So while I was working in investment management, I started Project XO, and I started it because in this area the wedding industry is huge.
Oh, I could imagine.
Yeah, it's huge. Like, and there's so many different nooks and crannies and romantic things to do. And with my parents, they had been married for 30 years and they always did things just because. Like my dad would like bring home flowers or do these date nights in, Maine, that's like, an hour away or so. And just literally just because I'm like, so where are you going? Like, and he's like, well, I got a hotel and we're going to go do this. And it's like, and it didn't matter. Like, it's not like I didn't have a ton of money growing up, but it was like, he always made that effort for her and vice versa. They were always creative. They were always thinking. My mom's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And so actually backtracking a little bit, when she got sick, her dream was to own a bed and breakfast. So I'll come full circle with this, but own a bed and breakfast. So then she took a sabbatical from work. My dad took a sabbatical from work and they managed a bed and breakfast up in the White Mountains of New Hampshire.
Oh, wow.
And so my mom's creativity of like what you can do for couples and groups and stuff just kind of flourished. And so I definitely got that piece from her. And I was like, when I came here, I was like, oh my gosh, like what could I do on a smaller scale, but like not have because I didn't have the financial backing to own like a bed and breakfast like we are at right now. So I was like, date night planning. I'm going to do date night planning for couples and see how it goes. And my first event was in February, 2019. And I was like, Valentine's Day, I was like, that has to be the kickoff because everyone likes to do something for Valentine's Day. So I got a venue. I sold tickets to it. My goal was to sell like 30 tickets, and have like 60 people there. It didn't end up that way, but it still was a magical event. I had food, I had wine poured. I had a salsa instructor teaching the couples how to salsa dance.
Way.
Yeah. And it was really fun. I'd like decked it all out with pillows and lights, and it was just really, really romantic. And even though I didn't hit that necessary goal of individuals, I touched a lot of individuals. I know one couple was like, and it's hard to hear that, but they're like, you saved our marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, like just doing something that is an experience versus just going to dinner. Because a lot of times you just go to dinner for Valentine's Day.
And then with couples too, you get into a routine and you forget to do the little like date nights, the more intimate things of connection. And so you help provide that where they don't have to stress about anything.
Exactly. No stress. Everything's provided, food, and it's all in their ticket. And they feel good because they're like, oh, I just show up. I'm like, you just show up. And then you see what happens. And the thing is, men bought tickets for their wives and wives bought tickets for their husbands at that event.
That's cool.
And it was really cool to see because some women were like, I don't dance. And they're like, no. So it got people out of their comfort zone, but in a good way. Like they were laughing, we had a videographer there. So they did like little, they learned a routine. So then they got that at the end. I sent everyone their little routine of them individually dancing. They got professional photos sent home afterwards. Oh, wow. So they had this whole memory that maybe they want or gotten them out of their comfort zone where they're laughing again. Yeah. They're like, oh my gosh, I feel like a kid again. You know what I mean? Like learning how to do something, And so that just makes it light. And to do that is like really important for couples. And so, because everyone goes through their ebbs and flows of just, you could be working all the time and your significant other's like, I just don't have the time. And so I provide that service of like, you don't need the time. I'll just coordinate it for you. And you just tell me that evening that you're available and it will all be provided for you. And my couples loved it. And so it grew from there. It didn't grow as fast as I had hoped, but I was getting little things here and there. My first date night package was latte art date nights. So you go to a coffee shop, you get the whole coffee shop to yourself, 3-course meal, wine, and you learn how to become a latte artist. And so you and your significant other are learning how to do latte art. And with the owner of the coffee shop, which is Julian, and his company is called Kin Coffee and Slow. And so he provided an unbelievable experience and we had a really good connection. He's like, I want to support you in any way I can to provide a space where you can start launching your date nights, and not make it astronomical for my couples to have that type of experience. And so he's still here today. We're still doing stuff with him. We're doing a corporate event with him coming up. And so it's just been really helpful to create those relationships with vendors in the area and business owners. And it just has evolved with me creating these date nights for couples.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So what, if you had any events that you've done that were like your favorite or the most memorable, what would they be?
Okay. So I've had a few. One of my first, because I love giving. So one of my first non-paid but giving back to the community, and also something that I would love to do with Project XO going forward. I would love to have a fund where I can give a date night to someone in need. Maybe that doesn't have the financial means to do it once a month, and I just pick a random couple and I give it to them. So actually a nonprofit reached out to me and they're called Dream Makers Slow, and they make terminally ill adults' dream wishes come true. And so it meant a lot to me because of my mom's stuff. And I was like, absolutely. Like, how can I help? How does my company kind of fit with what this dreamer wants? And actually this woman's last dream wish is to have a date night with her husband, which was really like just sad, but like, I'm like, oh my gosh, yes. And then I also found out that the Mid-State Fair was going on, and she's a huge Blake Shelton fan. Oh. And so they already had tickets to the Blake Shelton show. And I said, okay, well, how can we get a meet and greet for them? And they're like, I don't know. Like, they're totally against it. It's not going to happen. And I said, okay. So I backtracked. I set up their, beautiful tablescape at this ranch called La Lamita Ranch in San Luis Obispo. It overlooks water for their date night. We had a limo come pick them up. They had their sons join them for dinner because they really wanted that as well. They didn't want it just the two of them. They wanted a family. Yeah. And I said, absolutely, you can have a family date night. Like, of course. Yeah. People do it all the time. And so they joined. The sons actually didn't have tickets to Blake Shelton. So actually, I had a random woman call me and said, I heard about you doing this on the radio. I have 2 extra tickets. And I said, perfect. So I put those tickets underneath their chairs. she did not know, and neither did her husband know, that they were getting tickets to the Blake Shelton concert. And so that was a surprise at dinner. And then I actually reached out to a good friend of mine in Florida who does production design. And I said, do you have any connection with the Blake Shelton's team and manager? And he says, yeah, I know the manager. And I said, this is what I'm trying to do. Is there any way you can help me? And he knows, like, I don't ask him for favors like that. And I said, it's not even for me.
Yeah.
It is for someone else. And he's like, absolutely. I'll email you in a week and I'll let you know. And so he emailed me in a week. He got me backstage passes for them. She got to meet Blake Shelton, got pictures with him. And it was just like this unforgettable experience.
Oh my God.
The woman's name is Landy, and she was like, she had like a churro in her hand, and she's like, I'm eating like literally schoolgirl, like hugged him and was like, and her husband's right there, and he's like, yep, she loves him.
It's happening.
It's happening. Yeah. I was like, it's okay, and he goes, she'll be back. It was really cute, and he was really cute. We also got them all styled. So local boutiques donated clothing. So she got styled at Ambiance and Slow, which is a boutique for women, and he got styled at Office Hours. And so everyone in the community, you know, with the help of, and I just coordinated with that team, and everyone just came together and just put this unbelievable date night together for them.
It was amazing. Can't even like imagine how meaningful.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, and it was so it was so emotional throughout it, but it was like, this is, if I could have that fun, this is what I would do with Project XO.
Right.
Hands down. It's just coordinate these unbelievable experiences for people that need them, and not I worry about the finance piece of it. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I would lose my marbles.
Yeah.
I would lose my shit. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was one really cool one. And then my first date night ever, like couple that came to me, they wanted a surprise date. Well, my first surprise date night package, which is basically you contact me 2 weeks in advance, and I put together, based on what you want, an itinerary, and you get completely surprised. He did want to know, so that time he did want to know, but that whole package in general is basically the envelope gets delivered and just has an address, and you show up, and then
that sounds
find
so
out
fun.
what your date night is gonna be. So I've done a few of those. This one was a half surprise kind of thing. Yeah. So I delivered a card to her with floral, and it said basically what time he was going to pick her up. And then I reached out to a local retail shop, which basically sells like dishwashers and stovetops and stuff like that, but they have a working kitchen in there. And so after hours, it shut down, and I said, can I have your space for a date night? And he's like, yeah, sure. Why not? And so I decorated this whole kitchen, had a private chef, and as they're walking through this retail shop, there is a date night at the end of it, because there's a nice kitchen, and it looks like those model kitchens that you walk by in a retail shop. Okay. So we decorated it all out, and she's like, why are we going to Idler's home? Like, this is where I buy like appliances.
You want me to buy more appliances?
Yeah. And she's like, I'm all dressed up. And then at the end, it's like this chef and made them a 5-course meal with wine tasting. And it was like, they were transported into a whole new world because that's what we created for them. So she was like, I would have never thought of that. Like, because he didn't want just the rest. He wanted to be like, and he didn't want the chef to come to the house. He's like, how can you create it where she has no idea what's happening? Yeah. So that was fun.
This all sounds so fun.
Yeah. It's always fun. Yeah. I get to be creative all the time.
And it's so cool for you because you get to be a part of those moments that they get to share and that they're going to always remember.
Right. Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I get all sorts of, and it's transformed into, like you said, those memories. It's transformed into date nights, to family things. My most recent one is a girl who's 3 years remission for brain cancer, and a woman that used me as a date night for her significant other. She reached out to me and said, can I gift this to this family? And so we did a yacht experience with a chef, and and wine and whale watching, and it was just this whole elaborate, beautiful thing to celebrate life.
Yeah. Okay, definitely in the future, I'm hitting you up.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I want a surprise date night.
Yeah,
you set it up for me.
Yeah, it's been unreal. And like I said, the people I've met, I think the other cool experience was working with Alex. I think I mentioned that, Alex Stembluski.
Yes.
That was a
oh yes, please talk more about that.
A whim of a thing and an experience that, and he's incredible and he's amazing. So Alex is, if you don't know, is a photographer. He's a street photographer, and his tagline is, I make people famous, basically. And so he goes around LA and picks random people off the street to photograph. And I saw one of his reels, or sorry, not reels, one of his TikToks, and it had a gentleman that he photographed and said, who wants to go on a date night with him? And I said, I'll plan the date night for him.
Yeah.
And so he didn't answer me right away. And so I messaged him and didn't answer on TikTok because, you know, you can't
TikTok is so finicky.
Yeah. It's a whole animal.
Yeah.
And so I messaged him on Instagram and I waited and then he got back to me and he said, I love what you're doing. And I was like, you do? Because I love what you're doing. Like, I think what you're doing is like so special. And it reminded me a lot of Dreammaker Solo, just making someone's day, like that you don't know, that you don't know what they're going through. And he was doing that for people and just touching so many individuals. And so, and capturing at their best, you know, like bringing the best out of them. And so we talked a little bit and he said, you know, like I said, he said, I never answer these things. Let me talk to my management team and we'll set up a call. And so we set up a call and I talked to him on the phone and I proposed some ideas to him and he's like, I love it. Let's do it. And I said, okay, do you want me to come to LA? And he's like, no, I'll come to San Luis Obispo. And I was like, really? I was like, cool. I was like,
even better.
And so I was like, well, let me like help with this process. So I reached out to a local hotel, put him up in a hotel, and we picked my concept that I pitched was that I want to help because it was during COVID and, you know, moms are staying home with the kids and working full time. And again, supporting, you know, those women in business and just women in general and families in general. And so I said, let's pick a mom off the street that maybe has her kids with her that just, you know, needs something. You know, we don't know that she needs something, but we're giving her something. We're going to give her a makeover. We're going to get her styled. We're going to get pictures with her and her family. And we're going to make her have the best self-care day she has had in months because no one's able to go out. And he goes, let's do it. So we walked around downtown San Luis Obispo. This woman had 3 kids and her husband. And she was so like apprehensive. She's like, no. Like, that's a great idea, but like, pick someone else. And her husband's like, no, go. Like, if you watch the video, she's like, go. And he convinced her. He took the kids and she's like, I hope the kids are going to be okay. And I'm sure they'll be fine.
They'll be okay.
Yeah.
Let's focus on you.
Yeah, exactly. Let's get back to you. And so we took her to coffee. No, it's true. We took her to coffee. And we just got to know her story. And she said that she hasn't got her hair and makeup done since her wedding day. And she had kind of a traumatic wedding day thing she was going through. She just found out she had a lump. She wasn't sure if it was cancerous. So it was like this, it wasn't as special as, you know, she had hope because she was dealing with all that, you know, stuff in the back of her mind. And so we're like, you haven't gone? And she's like, no. And so we got to, you know more about her story. They had been together for, I want to say, I don't know if we're off the top, but I want to say like 14 years or something, like a very long time. And so after we had coffee with her, got to know her background, we took her next door. The barbershop let us use their facility, even though they're technically closed. We got a woman stylist in there to do her hair and makeup. And, you know, it was just really nice. And she had a mimosa in her hand. And she was just, she's like, I haven't seen my eyebrows in years. Like, the girl was like, she loved it. And we loved it. And we're like, see, like, we need to like do more of this stuff for people. And then after she went to Ambiance again, got styled. And then we brought her to the apple farm and surprised him with all the kids, and they got family photos. And they probably hadn't had family photos for years. Yeah. So that was really, really nice to do for her. And then we did a couple date night, and the random couple we picked, it was their anniversary, and we didn't know. So
what are the odds?
I know.
What are the odds?
Yeah. So that was really neat.
To jump back with the video you did with Alex, it got like tons of views, right?
Yeah, we got, which I didn't, I don't know. Like, you never know what's going to explode on those social media sites, but because I honestly did it because I just loved what he was doing. And like I said, it brought me back to what I was doing with Dreammakers. I was like, I feel like we could partner and do similar things, and I can design the space and you can pick the person and vice versa. But yeah, we got 9 million views on that one. Yeah. Whew. I know. And it's funny because this location, her daughter knew me from that TikTok video, or like knew of me from that TikTok video.
Isn't it crazy how like things just work as they do and gets you connected in ways that you wouldn't have imagined or pictured?
No. And that's why I say put yourself out. Like everyone, like people go, oh my gosh, how'd that happen? I said, honestly, message. You literally have people's, inboxes at the tip of your finger, and you don't have, and everyone's like, oh, they never answer. Maybe they'll never answer, but maybe one person will answer you and believes in what you're doing. And you never know. You never know what opportunities or doors that will open for you. And that's not what it's all about. But it's like, if you find inspiration by someone, how we can, you should reach out. It doesn't hurt to reach out. What's the worst thing that can happen? They say no.
You already have the no. Yeah. You're not losing anything.
Right. You already think it's going to be a no. Yeah. So it's like, go into it being like, who cares? Not who cares, but I mean, I've messaged people and I'm like, because I'm just like, oh, that's really neat concept, or something like that. And some of them never respond. Some people like heart it. And I'm like, okay, you saw it. But that, and that's okay. You just leave it at, you leave it at that, and it's okay.
I think that applies for anyone that's starting a business or trying to build a brand for themselves. Like for me with this podcast, especially now, it's like, okay, I'm actually now traveling and meeting all of you guys up here, and it's like, okay, the tiny little imposter syndrome voice is like, well, like, you're not qualified, or like, what if they don't want it? What if they're not impressed, or like, what if they don't like it? Yeah. But like you said, it's putting yourself out there. You don't know unless you ask or do something about it.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And that you hit on a good point, the imposter syndrome. I learned that. So when I transitioned into Project XO, I was really like nervous. And I didn't do it full time right away. I actually started a part-time job as doing some concierge work for a relocation company. And I started a Kathy Heller's podcast, Don't Keep Your Day Job. And then I did her like entrepreneurship course. And she talked a lot about the imposter syndrome, and people they hold back because they're afraid of what could happen. But it's like, if you don't put yourself out there, then you'll never know what can happen, but it happens to everyone. Like, I still do it. I'm still like, I have people that I'm like wanting to still reach out to. And I was like, oh, that email, how should that email sound? Or how should I get someone to proofread it? And it's like, no, just send it, like proofread yourself, but like, just send it. And like, what happens kind of thing. Yeah.
Someone I heard had shared when they're like sending emails and stuff. Yeah. They put it on like a self timer. Yeah. So it automatically sends, and you don't have the chance to like just debate if you're going to send it. You just write it, put it away, and it sends, and like that's it. Yeah. And you're not like having to like go back and forth of like, oh, should I delete it? Should I send it? Yeah. And I was like, oh, that's brilliant. Yeah. Right.
just go. But then it's like those emails where you're like, oh shoot, I didn't mean to send, and you want that undo. Like, you're like, because it's in a draft, and you're like, that's not the right one. So you're like, wait, self timer or that? I don't know.
That's true.
Yeah, because you might have that moment where you're like, shoot.
Unsend. Put yourself on airplane mode. Like, don't do it.
Or you're like, wrong errand. Like, that was not supposed to go to you. Yeah. That's happened before. Oh, well. Then I learned to put it on the 5-minute. Like, oh, yeah, double check.
Yeah. Imposter syndrome's crazy. Yeah. Like, this weekend, I usually record on my phone. Yeah. Because it shoots in 4K and, like, don't have problems. Right. But my phone got corrupted this morning. And so I'm like, I don't have memory and I can't do anything with it. Thank God. Shout out to Daniel. He happened to have his GoPro with him. So we're shooting on the GoPro with these videos.
Hey, you got to make things work.
We're making things work. You know, video might not be the same, but we're here with audio. We're out here in wine country. Yeah. Having really good wine. Making connections.
Right. And I was sweaty anyways today, so it's fine. I was moving.
None of that HD.
Yeah. We're good.
None of that 4K.
Yeah, exactly. Don't need the pebbles, So yeah. But yeah, the things with Project O is going well now, but I would say like, you have, like, we were, when I was discussing about the ups and downs, it's like going into June, like this year, I went full time, and I mean, I had like savings, like but I had spent it over the time of building the business. And when people say like, oh, you don't need financial backing and stuff, it's like, you're going to need some. I would say you need some. That's like advice people give, but like you need a little. Like,
you need a little cushion.
You need a little cushion to like get going, because you are going to lose on events. Like that first event, like I didn't make any money on it. And you do different things and you test them out and you learn from them, and everything's a learning experience. But it's like, I think I would have loved to have someone say to me is like, no, it's going to cost you. Like, even though go for it, like, just know it's going to cost you, and be okay with maybe you're going to have a little debt on that your new business credit card that you get. Like, and in time, you're like, don't get in a lot of debt. I am in financials, so I know, like, don't get in a lot of debt. But like, if you have $5,000 on your credit card because you want to start that business, like, that's okay, because eventually you are going to make back the money to pay off that credit card. So, or my idea, if you don't do a credit card, get a grant. Like, grants are really, really helpful.
We talked about this.
Yeah. And there's so many different resources out there. Like the women's business centers in different counties are really helpful with figuring out where you can get grants. I Fund Women has grants. Alice has grants. They're all over the place, and I just don't think enough people, I think a lot of people apply, but I also think a lot of people don't know about it. Yeah. And so I think that's something that I wish more people knew about, or at least I wish I knew about when I first started my business, is like, there is money out there. Even like the Chamber of Commerce gives grants every year. So it's like, there's money out there if you do need money to help start your business. So if you really are worried about debt or any type of debt on a credit card, that's a way to help, support your business in that first year.
Yeah. And for the listeners out there that aren't yet done with school or aren't in the business, even with like your college tuition, there's grants, there's different foundations that you can apply to. You just have to actually like do the work. That's the thing, the hard part though. Doing the research, putting in the time to apply. Yeah.
Because it could take you 3 to 4 hours, especially if you don't know how to do. Hi, birds.
We have some birds.
Yeah. Especially if you don't know any like grant writing skill. If you're not used to it, it does take you some time to write it, and you do want it to come from your heart and what you're passionate about, because it will translate when they're looking at your application. It's not just like a quick application. So it does take time, but I think all good things do take time.
Yeah. We were talking about this earlier, like starting a business, it's going to take like 3 to 5 years to see profit.
For sure.
And it's remembering you're not gonna, some people, whether you're like an influencer or not, you might blow up all of a sudden. But realistically, that's not the majority. No. You have to put in the time and effort. And eventually, once the consistency happens, the more people you network, the more people you meet.
Exactly.
It'll grow whatever direction it needs to.
Exactly. Like, I at the end of June, like I said, I went full time. I've never, but I had $200 in my checking account, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, it was so surreal, because coming from a 6-figure salary to like, this is your only income coming in. It's like, holy cow. Like, it's a really, really, it's a humbling experience. Yeah. And you learn a lot about yourself, and you learn about how you should save your money too, because if this is what you want to do, then it's like, you got to make adjustments. Actually, this place was, a huge savior in that, is like, because this location happened right at the end of that month, and I got connected with it through the private chef that I worked with, because he works on the property here, and so he had been working with a lot of my clients, and they asked for me to help with the events on this property, and that was right at the end of the month, and I was like, and they asked me to come do breakfast, and I was like, yes. Whoa. I was like, that is good timing. Like, but I do say that letting go, and I know it's so hard, but like, everything, it's so clear, but everything does working out, and I'm still learning that, but it does work out. It might not be the path you thought exactly, but it does work out.
Yeah. Let's talk more about that. Yeah. Like, letting go. Can you share some of your experiences where like you really had to, like, the humbling aspect of like, okay, like letting go of whatever, like tangible, material, like idealistic lifestyle, whatever that is.
Yeah, for sure. So like, I think because I'm going to be 33 in March, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it felt like taking steps backwards in my life. I'm like, I had 6-figure salary. I, doing well in the corporate world. And I was like, wow, and you go through like, now I have a roommate. Now, you know what I mean? It's like, now I'm driving my Toyota Corolla still. Like, it's like things that like, you're like, this is not, I don't have a family yet. I don't have a significant, it's like things you think about as anyone, but as a female, especially, you're like, and if you want a family, you are like, wow, I don't own a home yet. So I'm like, all these things that I thought I was going to have at this age, I don't have.
Social construct, especially like on females when it comes to like family.
For
You're expected to like be married, having kids, all of that.
All those things. Yeah. And you see your friends and it's like, you're like, what am I doing? And so I think as an entrepreneur, you kind of think that way. And then what I did is I joined Build Your Own Business group in town. And I talked to women that were older than me. And I just sat with them and they said, you can't look at it that way. Because I said, well, what if I have to take a coffee shop? I had all these things, nothing against a barista. I love coffee. Like, I would actually be that if that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I would own a coffee shop or be a barista, whatever. I think the concept I'm trying to say is that that's not where you want to maybe be in a certain point. And again, I say this very because I'm in the service industry, so I serve people all the time. I serve glasses of wine. I serve coffee. I serve just as much as, I do the barista thing. But I think having other jobs, not a full-time job, is a weird transition when you've come from a full-time job. And so trying to find all these other jobs to support your passion, it's humbling in a way, because you're like, well, I could just not do that and get a job and forget about me owning my own business. And I think people do that. I think they give up. I've had moments where I'm like, I think I'm going to give up. Yeah. And you have those, I don't know, because you're like, well, I could just do it. But in a way, that's the easy route out. Easy route out is like, yeah, I could just do that. But is that really what's going to make me happy in the end of
That's the thing. Like, things are just handouts or like given to you. You don't appreciate the value, the worth versus people that have had to work really hard. You understand like how much it takes. For sure. And you get to appreciate the process. Yeah. Yeah.
And that it is. It's appreciation. And like you said, the humbling, and like maybe I thought I was going to own a house and have a family, but that doesn't say that those things won't happen. It's just time. And I'm doing what I love now. And now I would say the things that are happening, it's beautiful. I'm like, what has like, you know what I mean? So it does come when you start, just stay consistent. I guess that's, the main thing is stay consistent and stay believing in yourself, because some people aren't going to believe in the things you're doing. I had multiple people who say that it's never going to work. Never going to work. And it's not maybe working exactly how I pictured it, but it's working in a way that works for me, and so it has transformed. I didn't think I was going to do certain events, and I do certain events here and there, but it also still comes down to the date nights. I still do date nights. Yeah. So
it's kind of, at least for myself, I always have to remind myself of what people's expectations of what I need to be doing is not what I need to be doing. Right. It's like, where am I at right now? And what is making me fulfilled? Right. What am I really enjoying and loving? And like for us, like what is something we're doing that has purpose to serve others?
For sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, I 100% agree with all of that. It's even like this week, like I had a really exciting thing happen with a contract that I never expected to happen. And then you get a phone call from some other client and it's not what they expected of something. And so you go through this kind of tug and pull, or these highs and lows of, this is so exciting to, like I'm always like, okay, this happened. What's going to happen that's going to bring me back to, a level playing field a little bit? Because it does it. You go, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. And then you get humbled again. You're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Life has a good way of like putting you back down where you need to like be sat. Yeah, and you're like, come down.
Yeah, come down a little
check
bit.
Yourself.
Yeah, exactly. So I say never get too high, too low, because if you do, you're gonna be disappointed really, really fast. I think, and I think you're also going to still have high expectations for yourself if that's what you want to do, but just know that it's not always going to work out maybe the way you had expected it. And I think being an entrepreneur, you learn that you have to be able to adapt very quickly, and you have to be able to problem solve really quickly.
That part.
Yeah.
The adapting too. Some people are just very like, no, it's supposed to be this way. Yeah. This is how I planned it. And then if things don't work out, they just have a meltdown or breakdown, and they don't know how to adjust. But adapting, because life throws you curveballs.
They do.
Like this morning. I was like, well, shit. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this, but I'm going to figure it out.
Right. And like the bar not fitting in the back of my car. Yeah. It's going to get figured out. Don't worry. I'm like, your bar will be there tomorrow. But yeah, stuff like that happens.
Yeah. That's a really good point to bring up. Like learning how to adapt and problem solving.
Yeah.
There's always a way.
Right.
If there's a will, there's a way. And if it's meant to happen, it'll happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And I would say that's huge. Like that is huge to be able to adapt. It's huge to be able to problem solve, because if you can't problem solve, like you said, you're going to have those freak out moments, but you're also just, people are going to see it too. Like, for my thing, it's a service thing. So you always kind of have to be on. So it's like, if someone's like, well, I wanted it. It's like, okay, yeah, I hear you. Let me get back to you, and we'll see if, finding a way to either alter it so it still meets their expectation, or literally get it solved so it does exactly meet their expectation. Right. So, I had a date night or a birthday celebration a week ago, and the location, for some reason, didn't really want anyone to set up. They thought it was like a private event, and I was like, no, like it can just be set up on this table, and they weren't able to adapt. And so I was like, no problem. That is your policy. Totally understand. Went back to the client, and instead of saying we can't do this, and I say this to any entrepreneur or anyone that owns a business, never say you can't do it. Figure out a way. Bring out suggestions. So I was like, these 3 locations I already reached out to. They have this time slot available for you. Would you like to go there? And then they don't feel that burden of, oh my gosh, like
it's not gonna work.
Yeah. So always come with a solution before just raising your hands and be like, I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then that helps people. People feel good about it too. Do we have some coyotes? What is happening?
There's some animals in the background.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't know if you hear that, but it's
from the city, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're from the city. We don't hear this every day. What would be some other tips or advice you'd give to entrepreneurs or aspiring entrepreneurs of like things for them? Like for you said you wish somebody told you like it's gonna be rough.
Yeah,
you're gonna cost, and maybe you're not gonna like have it easy. What would be some advice you give to people?
I think the other thing is just using your resources. Like like I said, the Women's Business Center, they offer legal advice. They bring in lawyers that help, consult with women or male entrepreneurs if you need it. Women's Business Center is also open for men. And I don't know if everyone knows that, but that is, something really interesting. And you can use that as a resource. And it's good too, because they help any entrepreneur, but it does say women, on the title of it. The other thing is like local groups, local entrepreneurships, groups. They can help with automation of things and operational background, because they might use an app or a software system that you had not even thought of, that which saves you time, because you're not researching it as much, because they'll give you like a few options, and B, money, because maybe you're going to spend a lot of money on something that's not going to really actually work for your business. And I would also say that sometimes Facebook groups can be a hit or miss. Like, be careful with Facebook groups, because sometimes people, not everyone, but are out for themselves in those type of groups. So you have to just, use your judgment. But I think always meeting a person is a better gauge than some of those groups. And also, it's not as personable. So it's like, might not know them. You might not never meet them in person. Yeah. And if you do start talking with them, maybe set up a Zoom call, because then you can get that, more one-on-one FaceTime with them. I would also say, like I mentioned, talk to people that have been through it and older than you. They man,
like
the wisdom.
mentors.
Yeah, mentors are like so key. And like I said, the woman where I was like, hey, I feel like I'm taking like a bunch of steps back in my life and my career. She gave me a whole new perspective on that. She's like, don't look at it. Look at it as a step forward into what you really want to do. And that is just a stepping stone to get to where you want to be. And so looking at that way versus like, oh my gosh, like I'm not, it's like, you don't have to, it's just a mindset, a lot of a mindset and mind game when you're, because you also can be hard on yourself, and because people are going to be on you all the time, especially in my industry. They want things all the time from you, and they have their expectations, like you said, and that might not be the same expectation you have. And so you're going to disappoint people, and to know that going in and being like, it's not personal.
That part
is really hard because I want to please, I'm that type of, I want to please everyone. And I learned a lot from people that are older than me and be like, Han, you're not. And you know what? It has nothing to do with you or how maybe your service was. It has something, it's just what they expected, and what it's not bad on them. It's just you're different people. Some people just don't have the same expectations or work well together. And that's why there's all these different services for people that, there's a ton of event planners. That's why some people only use one because they like that person. They're the same style. It works for them. So I would just say that don't take it personal. I do still, but don't take it always personal.
that has been one of the biggest things I've really had to like process and work through, because right up until beginning of this year, I took everything so personal. Yeah. The idea of disappointing anybody just made me like anxiety driven. Yeah. So just shelled up. Yeah. And so just realizing like you're not gonna please everyone all the time. We're all human. Like that's impossible. Right. And it might, like you said, it might not even be you. It might be that they just woke up not in the best mood, and they have other personal things in their life going, and they're just taking it out on you in that moment. Right. Like, who knows? Who's to say?
Yeah, who's to say? Exactly. Everyone's going through something. You might not be on your best game that day, too. And you're like, dang, I didn't know that I was giving off that kind of vibe. But you never know. And that has probably been on top of the advice, is just like a learning lesson of being okay. Because with an entrepreneur, you don't have... It's a lonely that's the other thing. It's a lonely process, because you don't always, if you don't reach out to the communities or don't put yourself out there, you're in your head all the time. I mean, daily. And you're working from home sometimes. I mean, I'm in my head daily about things, because it's just you. Right. It's just you figuring it out. And so if you don't have those groups or those outlets, you're like, oh my gosh, you literally you could beat yourself up for it. And that doesn't help anyone. So I would say that being an entrepreneur, you get to know yourself. You get to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. I know I am not good at all the time with the like paperwork stuff, and like even like I'm really good at in person. You can come out. This is Lisa. Yes.
Come on in, hop in the video.
Yeah, come on in.
Do you want to
yes. So Lisa Peach is the owner of this beautiful bed and breakfast. I know we're kind of switching gears a little bit, but
if you want to like
yes. But right here?
Yeah, we're facing that camera.
Okay. She is the owner of the bed and breakfast. This is Lisa Peach. This is of Kindred Oak Farm. And maybe she can tell you a little bit about the property. I know I gave a little brief background, but I think she can add light to everything.
Well, thank you for that. That's very sweet. Yes. Thank you guys for coming here today.
No, thank you for having us.
Let's see. My husband and I purchased this place about 2.5 years ago. We were on the verge of becoming empty nesters, and we're like, what are we gonna do? And growing up, and we wanted space. We were from Southern California. Our lot was about 30 feet by 80 feet, where our neighbors would go, achoo, and we're like, God bless you. So we're like super low. So I knew I wanted some space, and growing up in Colorado and Wyoming, I kind of wanted to venture back, but not a huge fan of the constant cold. And so we loved coming up here and doing wine tasting. So we thought, well, what about Paso Robles? So we found this wonderful place. Happened to be first day on the market. And we called on it, and it already had 5 offers on it. So we were a little bit sad. Sight unseen. We'd never seen it before. So we then just kind of kept looking around in Paso, and nothing really spoke to us, kind of as the pictures of this place kind of spoke to us. And so we just kind of kept looking. And so that was in November. And so flash forward to about March, I was on the couch with my iPad, and my husband kind of came in and we got done on a bicycle ride. And so he fell asleep. So I was trying to be really quiet. So I went online to say, well, I wonder what's in Paso right now. So I happened to find a little blue dot in this area, which was the house that we liked before. Blue dot meant brand new listing, first day on the market. I opened it up, and it was the same place. It had fallen out of escrow. So I couldn't wait for him to wake up from his little nap, and he did. And then I showed it to him. He was so excited. Now, it happened to be on a Sunday, and that's important because we called on a Monday, and they said that they're not taking any offers until the following Monday. I said, great. I want to come up and see it on Friday. Like, so sorry, we don't show it to people on the weekends because it's a bed and breakfast. Oh, okay. So my husband was traveling. He was getting ready to go out of town on that Monday that I called, and he wouldn't be back until Friday. So I went online. I'm like, what am I going to do? How are we supposed to make an offer on a place that we've never actually physically seen? So I went online to the bed and breakfast, and they had one room available. So I booked it. So yeah, so we came up here, and I called my husband. I'm like, I know that you're just getting back from, business travel on Friday, but we're going to go up to Paso. And he's like, great. So we came up here. We checked in as a guest on Friday night and Saturday night. On Saturday, the realtor was able to come over and kind of show us the place, and we got to meet with the previous owners. And I think that really helped because on that Monday when they opened up for the offers, we were already offer number 2 of 5 offers. Mm-hmm. So yeah, but since they happened to know us and know what my whole goal with the place was, and our vision and our passion of why we wanted this kind of land and space, we were their first choice to have the property because they connected with us and knowing. They connected with a couple of others as well, but they just knew that we were going to carry on their legacy. Yeah. Because I told them that for me, that was kind of what we wanted to provide for our family, is the legacy issue. We had, again, Wyoming, my great-grandparents had a huge ranch. We would go milk cows. We would make ice cream with great-grandpa and do all these fun things. And then as soon as they passed, all the great-uncles are like, oh, let's cash in, let's sell it. And here I was like, well, that's really sad because, that's kind of where our memories were. But, everyone makes those decisions. So, and then my uncle had a very large ranch as well. And he was passing it on to his kids, and he was making little cabins for each one of his kids. So it was kind of like a big family compound. And then he had grandkids, so he'd make cabins for each one of them. So everyone would come to the main house and have breakfast. And I'm like, that's what I want to do. So our goal with this place was originally just to have it be legacy for the family, and then we got here, and it's like this is, and again the back up is it was being ran as a bed and breakfast before, and originally that wasn't my intent at all to do that, but because I was working with my husband, he's had his business for 30 years, and I was working with him doing all the background part of it, and at the very last minute I said, you know what, I want to be more creative than working in the accounting world. I love the accounting world actually, but it was just behind a desk 24 7 days a week, and I'm like, I want something a little bit more creative. So at the last minute I decided to buy the business as well. So we bought the business, and the rest is history. And it's just, so we rebranded it. It used to be called Chanticleer Vineyard Bed and Breakfast, and so we rebranded it into the Kindred Oak. Kindred meaning family, legacy, roots kind of thing. So that's what we're promoting, and that's what we're doing with it. And then we got here, and it's just too cool of a place and magical of a place to not share. Yeah. Because we were just talking the other day, like, well, if we weren't running the bed and breakfast, what would we do with this? It'd be too big, too massive just for 2 people or the family when they come to visit. So we're really, really happy. And part of the one factor that we didn't realize doing this is how fun it would be to meet all these different people. We have 4 rooms. And so every weekend we get to meet 8 new people, and we're getting a lot of repeat people now. So almost every weekend we have a guest that is a repeat customer or guest. Yeah. So that's really special too. And then we found that a lot of people are really gravitate towards the experiential feelings of the stay. And so we put in a few experiences, but with Hannah's help and her expertise, we've just launched a whole bunch of ideas and experiences that we're really excited about. So yeah, so that's kind of my story.
Thank you for having us here.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, you guys need
wine?
to take a tour. Maybe
It's
just
a wrong glass, but we're gonna get you
well,
some
when
wine.
in Paso, I guess.
Paso, yeah.
Thank
really
you.
good.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
Cheers to Daniel.
Cheers to
Daniel. Super cool spot.
Right?
Location, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely gonna post some info in the bios for the podcast. That way people can
Cool.
maybe book
I
a
can
room.
show you one of the rooms too, so you can have an idea of what because one of them's not booked right now. I think it's open right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think
Cool.
so. We'll have
Perfect.
to double check.
Okay.
But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I can show you a room.
Yes. Well,
I hope mean, if there's anything else that I can give inspiration to or anything,
I think
let me know.
I think we covered
Okay,
a good
perfect.
amount. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Love it.
Again, thank you again.
Yes.
This was a great episode.
It was.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
so fun.
It was so fun.
I know.
Yeah.
We didn't eat tacos, but it's getting there.
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for tuning in to this episode. Sorry if the video situation isn't working out like we hoped. Things happen, but at least you have the audio, so that's all that matters. We'll try to insert some clips and videos that way you can get an idea visually. Yeah, thanks again. We'll try to find the link to this bottle. This is Hannah. I'll put all her Instagram and info so you can go check out, maybe book a date night with her.
Yes, and we do it all over. I should have mentioned that. Wherever you are located, we've done it.
Yes, so
Yeah.
no reason not to book her.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well,
Yeah.
thanks, guys. We'll see you next week. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.